Hi everybody, just waiting on a few more people to join us. I'm Debbie, I'm from Craftywafty, and I'm going to show you, and we're going to talk you through how we're going to make this album over the next few weeks. I'm just waiting on some, get the technology up and running, so bear with me just 1 minute. Just see whether I can get this running. Okay, I don't know if anybody's with us. Right. Okay, well, here we are, 7 o'clock Thursday night, ready for our first interaction with making the Craftywafty Flapper album. Don't know if any of you saw the little sneak peeks that we did, just to sort of show you what the album is like. But the plan is to sort of go through over the next couple of weeks, and I'll show you how I actually made it. Oh, excuse me. Now, what I did do was I have created a scoring and cutting guide, which if you pop over to craftywafty.co.uk, you'll be able to sort of download that for free if that's something that you would like to do, or you can just sit back and watch and see how things are going in terms of what we're going to be doing. So it's all a little bit exciting, I must be honest. First time I've done this, so I'm still trying to work out how to do all the logistics in terms of getting to see comments and things like that. Not quite sure how that is working at the moment, but we'll just have a little look and see what happens. And just got my iPad set up here as well, so I'm hoping I'll be able to catch some of your comments as well. Obviously, if you've just arrived, then please sort of say hi in the comments for me, would be great, so I can see if that's working, would be fantastic. Don't know who we've got with us today. I see that 2 of you have joined us, so that's lovely. I'm just waiting on just to see what happens. Okay, all right, well, for some reason I can't seem to find out who's joined us or not, so bear with me just 1 minute. I'm just going to see if I can swap over my Facebook link and see if I can get it on my iPad, and then we can get started. So I don't know about you guys, but I think all our weather has finally gone. Our summer, we've had rain this afternoon. It's pretty miserable out there, so I don't quite know what's happening on that front. But we can obviously, you know, get on with some crafting and not have to worry about the sunshine out there, and just see what's happening. So that'll be good. Nothing like a little bit of craftiness when the weather is naff. I don't know about you, but that's what I like to see. Right, swipe left to reveal comments and reactions. Okay. Aha, right, I think look at that. I think I've got it sussed here then for the comments and stuff. So perfect. Right, I'm just going to put you back there, and then we'll make a start. So please say hi. Tell me where you're from. That would be lovely. Just be nice to just to know who's watching and where you are. So that'd be fantastic. I think we've got everything settled. So if you didn't get to see the little sneak peek and preview that I did the other day, I'll just give you a quick sneak peek and have a little look through now. And then once we've done that, then we'll make a start. Okay. So this is using the 49er Market Kaleidoscope paper range, and I had one pack of the main papers, and I had a pack of the solids, and I had a little pack of the 6x8. And what I wanted to do was, because it had two, because I was making the two albums, what I did was I split the paper into piles, one to decorate this album and one to decorate the album that we're going to go through, and I'm going to show you how to do that, just to show that if you're clever with your cutting and you know, putting your photo mats and stuff like that, you can get two albums out of those packs of paper. So that's what I did. Now on the front here, because it was kaleidoscope, we've got this nice sort of tunnel vision at the front here, which reminds me a bit of the kaleidoscope toys we used to get as kids. So I sort of thought I'd put that on there, and then you can have a little, you know, you can feel that. And I like a little bit of texture on the front of the album, so I thought that was really quite nice. But it also, the paper lent itself to be cut like that anyway, so that's why I did that on the front. On the side, I've just got a bit of plain, and on the back like so. Now, opening this up, I've named all the pages in the album. It's the Flapper album. The reason I've called it Flapper is because it's all made of flaps, not a pocket in sight. So I thought it'd be something a little bit different. So this is the circle envelope. Hence you've got the circle shapes coming around like that. And when you open that up, it reveals inside. And then obviously you can put photo mats and things like that in there. So I'm not going to worry about putting that back together for a minute. I'm just going to leave that. Oh, excuse me. And then this one here is what I call the saloon doors. What I loved about this is that the paper sort of comes across the page here, and actually if you can just open it up like so, obviously leaves you plenty of space to put photo mats. I decided to go with squares, but you don't have to. And obviously I've put, so you can put photo mats on the back. Now what I would say is that I've not done any embellishment decoration on this at all. I just wanted to leave it as is so that you could see what we're aiming for, and then obviously later on we can go through and do all the embellishment bits and stuff afterwards. So this is a saloon door. Now the saloon doors, hopefully we'll get time and I'll show you how I made that. Then this one is the corset tag, because it reminds me a bit of a corset, and we've got some nice waxed cord here, and when you open it up here it actually looks like a tag, but it allows you to put a little photo in and maybe a bit of journaling and stuff in there. So it's always good to put photos in, but also importantly is to do the journaling. Now this is the envelope flap, or the extended envelope flap. So if I lift that up, you can see you've got what looks like the envelope at the top there, and then this comes down. So you've got quite a lot of space there for photo mats, but it also opens up again. So let me just push that up just a little bit, and then you can see it right down here as well. Plenty of space for putting your photos on. Okay, so that just folds up nice and neatly, and that just clicks shut with a magnet, and put a little magnet on there. All right, what have we got next? Oh yes, now this is the waterfall. It's held together by a seat belt, as I call it. So we'll open that up. What I like about this is when you open it up, it reveals a little message. Here we are, make today a happy day. And then we just got the waterfall pages in there as well. So again, you can add photos or a bit of journaling, and that goes right the way. And actually at the very back of here, I put a little card. Here we are with the dreamer on it, which I thought was quite sweet. So that tucks in across like so. And then here we've got the twister, or let's twist again, because you get hold of this and you just twist it out the way, and then this flap opens, so you've got a nice big space there for putting a really lovely photo, and you've got space here for either photos or journaling, whatever you want to do. I'll just tuck that back round on there like so. And then moving on to our next page, let's shunt that over a little bit. It's got a little magnetic stopper, and this is the double Dutch. And the reason why, no, thank you Siri, I really needed you to butt in. Just, he does it all the time. I don't know if he does it with you. Thank you Siri, thank you for your input. Right, okay, so this is the double Dutch. All right, so it opens up at the top and at the bottom, and then you open it up again. So you've got a big spread here. Let me try and open that one. Don't know if you can quite see that. Move that down so you can see that on the top here, like so. And obviously you've got a place to put photos and journaling, and that folds up and comes down. And then obviously the same here at the bottom. Don't know if you can see that. Here we are, we've got photo mats either side, and then that folds up like that. Let's pull that back down. I'll just clip that on there like so. And then we've got this one. I quite like this one. This is a picture frame. So again, I've done it a bit like the corset tags, where it's just going round with the waxed cord, and as you unravel it like so, then you can open that up, and then you can put a lovely picture in there, and obviously it's then framed by the outside, hence the name, the picture frame. Or you can just tuck in some photo mats in there if you wanted, if you didn't want just one picture. And then onto this one. Now this is what we call the mirror image. So again, we've got a little magnetic fastener, and this one again, I've taken the paper so it goes across, and then when you open it up, you've got space for some 3x4 photos, and it actually opens up again, which then allows you that really lovely bit of space there for putting, I don't know, big, you know, you might have a nice sort of panoramic photo you want to put across there. However you want to decorate that, you know, that's absolutely fine. It's your choice. Okay, there we go. So click that on there. And then we've got this one, tag it. As it suggests, there we are, it looks like a tag. So this one, again, it's got a little swivel here with a brand, and we'll just turn that round, and then you can put a photo in there. And if you go again, I think I'll put 3 in here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So you can put 3 photos in there. And actually, if you put those all together and take that right at the top, you've still got space there that you can put a photo in there as well. So lots of space to put photos in. And what I love is, I think the papers are absolutely beautiful. This kaleidoscope, it's really lovely, and really what I call your summery colours. Okay, and then this is the flapper. I did call it flip-flop, but it doesn't quite sound right. So I went in the end with flapper. People might say that might not sound right either, I don't know, but in my mind it was a better choice. So that opens up, allows you to put photo in there, and we've got one on that side, one on that side, and then this comes down as well. So basically you've got four photo mats that you can put in, and again leaving the middle here to put in whatever you like. Okay, and then you can sort of fold these up whichever way you want. So I put those across like so. That's a flapper one, so hopefully we'll get that one done tonight as well. And then we've got the accordion. So I'm just going to open this again. It's with a seat belt, so I'll just open that one, open that, and the accordion comes out like so. But a little extra on this one, it just opens up again, so you've got it on the other side, but there's a little magnetic on there which opens it up even further, so you can put a little secret photo in there if you wanted. So that all clips down quite nicely. Again, I really love the papers on there, so just beautiful. So let's tuck that on there. And then the last but one page is Square Dance. As the name suggests, here we are. We've got, again, another magnetic fastener, and this is Square Dance. So these open up in little squares like that. So plenty of space. As you can see, I've put loads of photo mats on there. And then the idea, or if you didn't want to put that many, you can change it, you know, whichever way you wanted to. But I just thought it looked nice with the squares, like so. I put my little magnetic thing on there when it's held. And then last but not least is the final inside cover. Now this is quite a big page, so hopefully we can get excuse me, get this all in. So I'm going to open up the little clasp here, and this one opens up, revealing some photo mats. And again, you've got space here to put some photos or journaling. And then what I love about this, the maze one, is that it then opens up this way. So again, it reveals more places to put photos. You've got another blank space there for photos or journaling. And then it opens up again. Are you getting the idea with this? More photo mats all the way through. And again, you can chop and change these around your design in terms of how you want your photo mats to look. Another one place there you can put photo on, then that opens again and again. And finally again. So as I said, it's sort of like a maze if you're working your way around. And I've tried to complement the papers so it's all the same sort of colour, so it just sort of blends it all together. But a real lovely opportunity to put lots of lovely photos and journaling in there. So we're just going to fold these all up like so. There we are. I'll tuck that one in, and there we go. So this is the, I've just knocked the fan off the table, never mind. Right, so that is the album. So what we're aiming to do tonight is to make the cover, because the whole cover is made, and the hinge, and we'll have a go at sorting out the pages and doing a couple of the pages that I've shown you tonight already. Obviously, if you've got any questions or anything like that, or you just want to put a comment in, then please feel free to do so. I'm more than happy to be interacting with you guys. So I'm going to go and just grab the pieces that I need. Okay. Oh dear, excuse me, I've got a bit of a tickle. All right, so here we are. So this is the outside cover, okay, and I'm using two 12 by 12 inch pieces of black card, okay, and then the construction board, okay, is 8 by 8. So this album is 8 by 8 inches, okay, and then I've got the spine, which is 8 inches by 2.5 inches. So this is what's going to make up the album cover, okay. And when we've made the album cover and we've put the black cardstock on it, then obviously I'll then show you how to do the hinge. So we'll get the basic cover done tonight. Okay, as I said, if you want any of the instructions for the cutting and scoring, there you can pop along to craftywafty.co.uk and you can download the instructions for free. Okay, just having a little sip of ginger beer. Okay, so the first thing to do is to obviously join our two bits of black cardstock together. So I'm just going to pop those to one side for a minute. Now you can do your album covers one of two ways really. If you had some really lovely paper that you wanted to use for the cover, but you wanted to cover the whole of it, then and you've got it big enough, then I would do this, or you can join it together, which is what we're going to do here. So first of all, I've got some lovely red liner tape. We sell this in our shop, 50-meter rolls, which just seems to go on forever and ever. So I'm just going to pop some red liner tape along one edge, so you get it in different thicknesses. So at the moment I am using the 12mm one. I'm just going to run that along there with my scissors. On like so. Okay, I'm going to get my little burnish tool. We're just going to run that along like so, just to make sure that that is all down nice and firm. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on the other one. So let's just have a little, put this on. The only trouble with this stuff, I don't know if you find it, like with sellotape, you just sort of put it down and then you can't find it. Can't find the end. Right, okay. Let's just put that in along there. Oh, got cat hair in there as well. Thank you, Mickey. Mickey's the resident moggy, who may or may not visit us during the course of our evening. He likes to be involved in whatever I'm doing. I don't know if any of you have the same issue. But he certainly does that for me. So I'm just going to run that along like so. Okay. So use me burnish. So the idea is that what I'm going to do is where I've put the red tape on either edge, I'm going to, as you can see, I'm going to turn that one over and I'm going to stick them so they overlap. So that gives me a nice big bit of card to be able to cover the album. So, oh, Susie says hi. It's the Mersey Crafter here. Hi, Susie. I hope all is okay with you. I believe we're coming to see you on Saturday. We're bringing our little shop over, so that will be quite nice to see you. It's a bit awkward because I'm trying to show you how to do this, and some of the comments aren't coming up on my iPad, so I might need to rethink how I set this up next time. But I will occasionally pop and have a look at my phone, and then we can do that. So here we go. All right, so a little tip for you. I find if you haven't got nails, I use a little pokey tool, and I'm just going to run that under the red tape, and I'm only going to do about half of that and leave myself a little tail, because when I flip this over, that gives me something then to guide it on and to adjust. You see, I'm breathing now. Okay, adjust it, and then I can stick it down, and once that end's stuck down, I can then pull the rest of it out and it sticks it in beautifully like so. Okay, so that's one bit done, and then we're going to flip it over and turn that round because I need to get the other bit of red tape. So I'm just going to fold this back, get the little tag bit. You probably can't see what I'm doing here. Let's pull that up a bit. See, I'm just getting the little red bit again, and I'm just going to pull that so that seals the two together along with the cap there. There we are. Thank you, Mick. I wouldn't mind, but I'd wipe this side all the way down. It just gets everywhere. Okay. All right, so there we are. We've got the two bits of black card joined together. Okay, that makes it one big piece. All right. The next thing we need to do is sort out our cover going onto our boards here. Now, you can do this a couple of ways. I've got double-sided sheets on the back here already pre-done, which just makes it easier, and then you can just sort of peel it off and then just literally stick it down. What I find is that using the double-sided paper, or the sheets rather, is that it gives it a really nice flat finish. But if you haven't got anything like that, you can obviously use some glue, but just be careful how much glue you put on, or the red liner tape as well. But I just think it gives it a nicer finish. So I've done that on all three pieces. Voila. And what I'm going to do is where the line is, or the join is, for the cover that we put together, I'm going to make sure that that sort of sits in the centre of my spine, because what I don't want is for the edge to be sort of coming where we've overlapped it, to be coming on the edge, because then that potentially you could sort of catch it and it will come off. So I'm just looking there, so that's where that will go. And then a rough 1/4 of an inch either side to sort of fix these on. Now you can buy special little T plastic pieces of equipment that will help you keep that all in line, but if you haven't got anything like that, then a ruler. Now I use this is a quilting ruler. I don't know if you can see just at the bottom of the screen there. This is a quilting ruler, so it just helps me to sort of straighten up. But if you haven't got anything like this, and an ordinary ruler will do, and then you can just roughly work out where your margins are going to go. Okay, now I'm not overly worried about how much paper I've got left around the outside, because we will trim that down. Okay, so let's have a little look and see. Let's get this off, and then we're going to get it stuck down. So this is where again I sort of breathe. So we're going to leave that on there. Now sometimes this can be a little bit tricky to get off, because sometimes when I'm peeling it off, it will take the cardboard bit off. So a little trick that I do is I just get a crafting knife and I just slice through the plastic cover bit, and hopefully that will lift off. She says that's enough for me to get my nail under it. Okay, oh, that's my instructions falling down in front of my screen. Let's just pop them on there. There we go. All right, just there we are. All right, so now that I've got that started, and you can just feel to make sure it's tacky, that it is taking off the plastic. I'm just going to take that right off, and then I can come in and get the rest of it off like so. And I've just got this fiddly little corner bit that I cut, so I should be able to get my nail in there. There we go, that works. All right, okay, so here we are. We're going to breathe and drop it down, and there we go. Not bad at all. By using the ruler, I can see that it's all fairly straight, so that's all good. First bit done. Okay, next bit, okay, is the big bit. Okay, we're now going to stick on one side, and then we're going to do the same on the other. So again, just going to put a little score mark across there, cut that. Let's see if I can peel that bit off, leaving the little tacky bit. Now the beauty is that because this is an 8" by an 8" album cover, we haven't got to worry which way we stick it down. But if ever you make any other albums that have got a different size, and just make sure you've got them the right way round. Okay, so let's tuck that in there. Okay, and I'm just going to drop this one in about a 1/4 of an inch out from where I put the first one, using the ruler as a guide. There we go, and because that's quite flat against there, that makes that level as well. So that's that one down, and then the final one. Here we are. So as soon as we've got Susie's, I don't know if you want to put a comment in, Susie, just letting us know about what's going on Saturday. So if anybody else wants to come along for Mersey Crafters, it's your grand opening. I'm just going to open up this last little bit. Where's my paper tool? There we are. Sit on that bit. So Susie is part of our design team. She lives on Mersey Island. And right, let's just drop this one down as well. About the same sort of distance. That's it. And then we're done. Okay. Perfect. Right, so now they're all down. I'm just going to rub this over. Take the ruler out of the way, rub this over with the burnish just to make sure that that is all stuck down properly. Okay, and then we have the makings of our album, and I don't know if you can see if I hold that up here, but the two joins where they come in across overlap are sort of not quite central to this middle bit of spine, but enough that when that gets covered it's not going to catch on anything, which is just what we want. Fabulous. Okay, so the next thing to do is we're going to trim round the edge. So I'm going to use my ruler again, and I'm going to just take off, I'm going to line it up with the album cover. I don't know if you can see that. Let me just move that over a little bit. There we are. And I'm going to trim off. So, and I'm just going to leave an inch all the way round. So always make sure you've got a lovely sharp blade when you're doing any new projects. Okay, right, I'm going to come around and do the other side for the minute. That's it, line that up like so. And then I'm just going to have to pop this up the next bit and come along. So I'm going to have to do this at an angle. There we are. I'll have to do this in two parts because this is quite big now. Just slide that along like so. That's all cut. That's it. Move this along. So I find that actually I really quite enjoy making the albums, and I think for me, I think it's the process of actually doing the creative bit. I know some people tend to find that bit is the hard bit, but I quite like doing the creative side of it. I like to sort of decide what pockets I'm going to put in and any flaps and any other interactive bits. So that's the bit that I quite like doing, is the design bit. But having said all that, once you've then decorated it, and especially if you've got paper in mind of what you're going to be using, I think it's really nice actually to be able to slide that across like that, to be able to sort of decide, you know, what you need. And I think sometimes as well you're governed by the patterns of the paper as to how you're going to design your album. Now I did make one, I don't know if any of you saw it, the Great Outdoors album that was using the Minte paper range, but they had, because of the way that the papers were, it lended itself to be quite creative with the pockets and stuff like that. But like with this album and with the front cover, for example, the paper lended itself to have that sort of tunnel effect on it. So I quite like the fact that when you put anything together like this, that you can actually do that. Okay, so I've trimmed all round. So I'm going to go in with my let's see, 12mm. I could probably get 2 of those round. So we're just going to add the red liner tape. So I find it's easier to add the red liner tape first before I mite the corners. So I'm just going to take that along like so. I'll just trim that off. Don't know if any of you've had or made albums before. I know Susie's made loads of albums, haven't you, Susie? So I think it's quite nice to sort of be quite free with how you decorate them. And in fact, Susie's actually made this album already, but she's made it with a different paper range, which I think we need to get a little video done of what the new album looks like, your one, just so people can see what it is with different papers, which I think would be really nice. Okay, so here we are. I'm just going to run the red liner tape along. That's it. Now this stuff is not very forgiving, so you have to be a little bit careful with it. Oh, another cat here. Oh, we're doing well. Thank you for that, Mickey. I know you love to share. So let's have a little look. Let's do this next one. Okay, and we're just going to run this along like so. This is good. I can get a double. So as I said, we do the red liner tape. This is a 12mm one I'm using at the moment, but we do have the 9mm as well. And I do believe we've even got, I think it's almost 2 inches as well, 4 inches, but that's not the red liner tape. I think that's the Elizabeth Craft tape. But yeah, so do pop along and have a little look at our website. All right, so almost done with the red tape. So now some of you may have already seen me do this sort of album cover before, so perhaps you're just waiting to see all the fun bits when we make the pages and stuff like that. All right, one more to go, and then we are done. Just tuck that in. Okay, good pair of scissors, and then what we're going to do is we're going to burnish all the way round, just to make sure that red liner tape is set before we trim off and do anything like that. So let's put that to one side. So here we are. So I'm just going to rub this all the way along. Nice clean flat edges. No red tape, so that we know that when it comes to stick on our board, it's going to work. Okay, like so. There we are. All right, so now a little trick that I do as well, because sometimes when you mitre your corners, if you don't quite get them cut right, you might still see some of the construction board underneath. So I just get a little black Sharpie and I just come in and colour the corners just to make sure. Just come round like so. I'm using a chisel end tip, which just makes it easier to get in there. But if you haven't got a Sharpie, a black felt pen will do just as well. Or black marker, that's it. Like so. And then I'm just going to do the final corner here. That just comes round like that. Okay. Right, so hopefully everybody, I don't know if any of you are making as we go along, whether you're just sitting watching, that's absolutely fine. But if you've got any questions, then please just pop them in the comments, and then I can sort of answer you if there's any questions or anything like that. Okay. Right, now to do our mitered corners. Now, again, there are tools out there that will help you cut your corners so you get the right thickness and everything. But if you haven't got anything like that, and I thought what I wanted to do was to be able to show you ways around it of using other things if you haven't got these sort of extra tools. Okay, so this construction board is probably not even 1/8 of an inch thick, so I'm going to just, as you can, I don't know if you can see here where I've come over on here, I'm going to line the ruler so that's it right on the end, and then I'm just going to come in by one of the little markers on the ruler, just to give me a little bit of depth, which is I'm trying to aim for the depth of the board, is what I'm aiming for, is the depth of from the end of the corner coming out with the ruler, so that when I cut it and then you fold it, you've got enough to cover that corner, if you see what I mean. Because I put red liner tape on, I'm just going to cut it through with a knife like so. So let me just show you. So here you can see where I've coloured in, and then I've come out about the thickness, probably maybe just a fraction more than I should have done, but you can always trim away more. You can't add it back on. So I've just done that just so I've got enough wiggle room for when we come to fold it over. So I'm just going to do this now on the other corners. So I get a rough guide there. And I'm going to come around and do the next one. Just come in a little bit like so. And that one I've taken in a little bit close, so we'll see how we do that. Good job I've coloured my corners in. And just going to take that across like that. Right, there we go. All right. So they're the corners mitered. Okay. So the idea is that when we fold it over, you should get a nice, neat finish. Okay. But before we do any of that, I'm just going to go around with the edge of a bone folder, and I'm just going to run it along where I've put the red tape alongside the construction board there. You can see along the edges. This is just to help stretch the fibres in the paper, so that when we come to fold it up, hopefully it will bend a lot easier. So just stretching that, and then I'm just going to come down and do a little bit of a rub in on these as well. Okay. All right, so if I bend that up, that's going to bend quite nicely. That one bends quite nicely. Okay, so here we go. So you just ease. This table is really squeaky. It's not my joints, honest, I promise. All right, so I'm just going to ease that paper up before I stick anything down. I'm going to go around and do this all round the other sides as well. I can sort of see how my corners are looking, not too bad. Okay, going to ease that round like so, just to help that paper bend a little bit, or the card rather. Here we go, and I'm just going to bend that over. That's it, it's all squeaky squeaky. All right, and now we're going to take the tape off. So what I tend to do is do the two short corners first, get them out the way, and then that leaves me with the big ones at the end. So let's get my pokey tool. Just going to lift this off. Now the beauty of taking the red liner tape right to the end before you miter cut it is that obviously I've now got tape right to the very edge, so which means I'm going to get a really good seal on that. Right, okay, so let's take that over, get rid of that. Right, so just going to ease that up. Now I'll try and push it down in the middle first and try and pull that paper or pull the card, because I want it as tight as I possibly can coming over that edge like so. And then we get the lovely burnish, give that a good rub down, and you should have a really nice finish on that edge. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So here we go, just going to take this tape off like so, and oops, sticking to my fingers, and let's try and get this other bit off. Okay, take that off, there we are. And again, I'm just going to ease that over into the middle, give that a bit of a pull as I sort of, as it stick it down like so. There we are. Okay, I'm going to give that a little bit of a burnish. So that's our two end pieces done, which look lovely. And now for the big E. I'm going to come along and do these ones. So again, I'm going to ease that up. Now, at the corner, if I've over cut it a little bit, I'm just going to use the edge of my bone folder just to tuck that little bit in like so, and now I can take the red liner tape off. Here we are. Just going to pull that across like so. These long bits. Okay, I'm just going to check the other corner and just give that a little push in. That's it, just to make sure that that's going to go across as well. Right, and here we go. So again, I start off in the middle and then I gradually fold that over, pull in the cardstock as I go along, so we get a nice finish on the edge of the construction board like so, and then I'm going to run over it literally with my burnish tool. Make sure that is nice and firmly down, and then where we've come over these bumps here, I'm just going to give that a little bit of a dip just to stretch those papers, just so it will help with the bend. Okay, and just give these corners a good push down. That's it. So there we are, our mitered corners on that side, and then we're going to repeat and do exactly the same on the other side. So let's get this bit done. Again, I'm going to take this out. Like so. That's it. Let's see if these need tucking in a little bit. That one's okay. That one could probably just do with a little nudge in there. That's it. Right, and again, just going to stretch over the card. Like so. Get it almost down. Here we are. All right, and then we're just going to run this along. Put a little bit in there. That's it. Give that a good push down on there. And that is pretty much our album cover base done. So I think it just has a really lovely finish when you do it in the black, because then whatever paper you're going to put on the black just helps pop it. But as I said earlier, if you wanted to decorate it with patterned paper, the whole album, then obviously, you know, that's something you can do, you know, or wrapping paper. I've known people wrapping paper, or even wallpaper actually. So, you know, whatever your choice is. But there we are, and that is the album cover made. Let's give that just a final furnish. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to look at is doing the hinge to go on the inside, and then once we've done that, I'm literally then going to put this to one side. The temptation to decorate the cover straight away is quite so, oh yeah, I want to do that. But actually what I found is that when I've been making albums before, I decorate the album cover first, and then I find that when I'm in and out the album all the time, it gets damaged. So I normally now leave decorating the album cover until the end. But what I would say is that looking through your papers, select the papers that you're going to use for your album cover ready, because then at least then when you've got those and put to one side, they're not going to get used up within the inside of the album. Okay, so we're going to pop that to one side for the minute, and we're going to do the hinge. Now the hinge, let me just go and grab that. That's it, have a little standy up, otherwise my Snoopy will be telling me off. I haven't stood up for a bit. Right, okay, so the hinge itself is fairly straightforward, nothing too complicated. Okay, I don't like things that are too complicated, so just get my cutting instructions here. So the hinge paper itself is 7 and 1/4 inch by 7 and 1/4 inch. Okay, so 7 and 1/4 and 7 1/4. So again, when you come to put it on your scoreboard, it doesn't matter which way you do your scoring, as long as you keep it the same way, you'll be absolutely fine. And on the instructions, I've given I've written down exactly the score marks that you're coming along. Now I have already pre-scored this, but I just wanted to sort of show you what I've done. So on the instructions, the first score is 1.5 inches. So then I'll come down and do 1.5 inches, and then you're going to have 2 1/2 inches, because this is going to be the bit that covers part of the spine and covers the front cover and that little valley bit that we had. And then the 2 1/2 inches are going to make the hinge bit itself. So 1.5 inches, then 2 inches, and then 2.5 inches. Okay, so this will make the mountain, as it were, and then we're going to come to the valley bit. Now the valley bit, because this album has got lots of intricate bits with it, you know, interactive bits, like you've got the flaps and you've got the corset tag string and stuff like that, I wanted to make it a little bit wider than normal. So what I've done is that I've actually, instead of normally I'll do a 1/2 inch, I've actually gone 5/8. So the next score mark will then become 3 1/8. So you'll run that along there, 3 1/8, and then I'm back to my 1/2 inches again. So we're then at 3 5/8, and then we're at 4 1/8, and then I'm back to my valley bit, which is 5/8 again, so that will be 4 3/4 inches. So all of this is all written down for you, all right? You don't have to worry about working this out. And then another 1/2 inch on top of that, which makes it 5 1/4 inches, and then the last bit is 5 3/4 inch, and then that should leave me with 1.5 inches at the end. Okay, so long as you've got 1.5 inches either side, you've got 2 1/2 inches coming in, then you've got 5/8 inch, and then you've got 2 more 1/2 inches in the middle. You'll be fine, all right, because that's what we're going to put together. So let's just unclip that and move that out of the way. So what we're going to do is that we're going to bend this first, okay, so that we know where we're going to be putting the red tape. So at the moment I've got this 1.5 inch there, so I'm just going to fold this towards me. Okay, so it just got that nice little flat bit going on there, and then the next hinge I'm going to fold back on itself, so you're almost concertina in this to a degree. Okay, and then I'm going to come back again, so you might find it easier to fold it like that. So basically, just to show you, you've got your 1.5 inch, 1/2 inch side, 1/2 inch side the other way, and this is going to be your hinge bit, this bit that's standing upright like that. Then you've got the valley bit. So now we've got the valley bit, we need to fold that back on itself. I'm going to score down like so, because that's now created the valley. You can see that, and then we're going to come up and do the little mountain again. So because of that, it's just like that flat, and I'm going to come back over. That's it, like so. That's it, and do the other one. Give it a good burnish, and then I'm going to fold it the other way, so we'll get that crease coming both sides. All right, so now we've got 2 hinges, and then you've got the 5/8 inch there, which is your valley. So we're just going to come across like so, and then I'm going to fold the final hinge like so. That's it, just run that down, and then the final fold like that. Right, okay, So this is what we should end up with. 1, 2, 3 hinges. So you've got this bit and this bit that are going to be stuck to the front and back cover. Then you've got 1 hinge, 2 hinge, 3 hinges, and then you've got the valley bits in the middle. So what we need to do is stick these together. So turn it over, and what I do is I just mark it with a pencil. So the 1.5 inch. So in the first 1/2 inch one, you put a little cross and then a little cross. Then you miss the valley, and then you're going to put another little cross and another little cross, miss the valley, and then another one and another one, and then that leaves that at the end. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that on there. It's a bit hard on the pencil, but what you're then going to do is you're going to put red liner tape down one of those cross sides. Okay, only one, because if you put 2, then you're putting 2 lots of tape together. So you just want it on one side, because then you're going to bring it together for it to stick, and then you're going to do the same on the others. So let's do that. So for this one, now if you haven't got red liner tape, obviously you can use book binding glue for this, but I find that whenever I'm doing anything construction wise, I use the red liner tape. So I'm just going to bring that along like that, burnish that one down, and then I'm going to put some on the next. So I'm not peeling or sticking anything yet. I'm just literally putting the red liner tape in, and then on the final side, like so. There we are. Right, there we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to burnish those like that. So that's what it should look like when you're done. Okay. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do now is take off the red liner tape one at a time. So I'm just going to peel off one side, and I'm just then going to fold that over and burnish, because that then gives me one of the hinges done. And I'm going to do the same on the other side on the next one. Here we are. Pull that off, and I'm going to fold that down, give that a burnish, fold that back, and then the final one I'm just going to come down. Oops, tricky little thing. Get it off, and it sticks to your fingers like anything, this stuff. Right, then we're going to fold that over like so, and then open that up. Right, so we should end up with 3 hinges. Yay! Okay, right, the next thing to do is just burnish these all down, one going one way, and then have it coming back the other way, because these are what your pages are going to stick to, so you need to make sure that it's nice and firm, and that those are going to move about quite easily. All right, and then all we need to do now is to stick this into the album, but we need to put some tape on the back. Now again, because it's construction, you could use red liner tape. I've actually got some double-sided tape like on the sheets, so I'm just going to stick this on. Let's take that across. Mine's on a roll, but I know we've got some in the shop that's on sheets, so just going to trim that down, take that right off like so. That's it. I'm going to trim that off against, make sure that's stuck actually, hold that together. That's it. Okay, so that has secured that. Just trim off these last little bits, because if I leave any of the white bits showing, this is glue and this technically is going to get stuck everywhere. So we'll just trim those down. Let's take a little pair of scissors to these just to trim these last few bits off. That's it. And that last little bit down here. The trouble with this stuff is it sticks to everything as well. Look, it's all stuck on my scissors now. Right, okay. Right, so hinge them. So that's our hinge. Prepared, ready. Going to give it a good burnish. Make sure that that is stuck right down. We've got no air bubbles in there. Just going to do like I did before, just take a little cut across one of the corners. And then we bring our album cover back. And what we're going to do is we are going to put this so that the 3 hinges are sort of central to the spine. Okay. And then you've got this bit that overlaps the gap that we've got there. Okay, but also this is not the full length of the album cover itself, so you need to make allowances that you're going to have a bit of a gap either side. So if you're not very good with the old looking at it with the eye, then get yourself a ruler and give it a bit of a measure. So that's come up about 3/8 of an inch on that side. So if I just sit that there for a minute, oops, didn't mean to do that. Right, okay. So let's just put that for the minute. I'll just sort of see 3/8 of an inch. So I know I've got to get it centered to 3/8 of an inch. Now, to get my central line here, obviously this was 2.5 inches. So I make that 1.25 inch. So if I just mark that off 1.25 inch, it just gives me a little guide as to where to put the central hinge, so that when I'm lining this up I can get that hinge so it's just coming on there. And because I've got to come over slightly, I'm just going to bring that down a bit, but not right to the bottom because otherwise it won't get covered. So it just gives me that guide. And then I'll come down so I know roughly where it is. So once I've got that set in place, and again just re-measuring that 3/8 of an inch, and I've got that fairly centered, I'm just going to give myself a little guideline on here just so I know roughly where that's got to sit in. Okay, here we go, moment of truth. I'm going to unpeel it and stick it. Right, and I'll just say, doing this job, it's probably easier to be standing up, because then if you're overlooking at it, you can see it a lot clearer. So let's just peel off the sticky back tape. Wish I've done such a good job at sticking it down. There we are. Fiddly this bit. There we go. Okay, right, I'm standing up, people. Here we go. Dun dun dun. Right, so lining up with my pencil, coming down by about 3/8 of an inch, making sure I've got it fairly even both sides. Come over just a fraction. Okay, that's it. Right, moment of truth now is when we stand it up and have a little look. Okay, that's not bad. Right, okay, so that's not quite stuck down, so I'm now going to use your burnish. Here we go. I'm now going to pop that in and seal that in completely. Okay, and then I'm going to come down the crease line as well, just to stretch those paper fibres. Let's give it a bend. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. Right, there we are. So that is our album cover done, along with the hinge put in. Perfect. Wait, I'll come over slightly a bit on that side, but that doesn't matter. That's all right. Gives us a little bit of room, but they're straight, and that's the main thing. And there we are. There's the album cover done in, what, in about an hour. So it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. All right. So moving on then, I think what we'll do is we'll talk about the pages. So here are the pages. Let's just move this, clear the decks. Let's have a little slurp of drink. Right. Okay, so you're going to need 6 pages. 7 3/4 of an inch by 7 1/4 of an inch. Now I've already pre-scored some of these, but I just wanted to show you the final one. Okay. Now on my instructions I write, when you come to do the pages, you score. I write score on all pieces, because you're doing on all of the 6 pages, but you score on the 7 3/4 inch side. So what that means is that you put the 7 3/4 inch side at the top, which means that the 7 1/4 inch side is coming down that side. Okay, and all I'm going to do is just score 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to come down like so. Okay, and then that leaves me with a 7 1/4 by 7 1/4. So that is my square page side, or size rather. There we are. So 6 of these. Okay. Now what I normally do is that I don't put these into the album until after I've made the pages up, but just to show you that obviously where the score line is, that is what is going to sit on the hinge. I don't know if you can see that. Let's move that out of the way. That is what's going to sit on the hinge, and that's how you're going to fix that together. Okay, and you'll do that with red liner tape. But in the past I've been really eager, and I've gone ahead and I've put my red liner tape on and all the rest of it, and then I've realised that actually I wanted the pages to either go one side or the other side, so I don't now put the red liner tape on until the end. You learn these things as you go along. But that's basically what I do. So these are my pages. Now, because these are individual pages, it means that we will have different interactive bits for 12 sides, obviously, because you've got one side, then you've got the back of that, and then it goes right the way through. So that gives you 12 different sides of pages that you're going to decorate, or the sides that you're going to decorate. So I thought for today we would do some of the more basic ones, and then we'll step it up for next week and the week after, so that everybody knows exactly what they're doing. So I'm just going to get my papers, which I thought I'd organised all nicely, and I've put them somewhere. Right, where are you? Oh, here we are. I see. Okay. All right. So what I've tried to do is sort of select roughly the sort of papers that I want to decorate with. And the thing is that with these albums, obviously you can decorate the pages however you wish, in terms of, you know, you can put saloon doors on one side, you can put the picture frame on the other. It doesn't matter which way you do it. But just bear in mind that consider your colour ranges as well as you're going through. I tend to find that when I'm decorating my albums, I look at obviously how the page is going to open in the first place and whether that is going to catch on the other page opposite, and also looking at the colours in terms of, well, do I want a 2 blue page spread or a pink spread, you know, whatever it is, or do I just want to completely mix it up and doesn't matter what colours I use at all, I'll just go with it. So for the original album, if I just grab this back again just to show you what I mean, so on here you'll find that I've picked up some of the blue, which is sort of in here. Then obviously you've got the more pinks going on that one. That one is completely different, but it does pick up the pinks and the greens and the blues. This one is more green, but again I'm picking up the green from the picture frame. This one is pretty much all pinks, and then again, although that's blues, I have picked up some of the green going through as well, and actually I've ended all on a double blue page spread. So it's worth thinking about as you're going through just how you want to sort of decorate your album, and also consider, you know, your page sizes as well, because for some of the pages as we go forward we will be using the papers already, and others will leave to the end to use up any scraps and stuff. So it's always good to make sure that you've got enough paper to cover all the big pages, you know, the ones that are going to have the background and stuff like that, before you sort of start decorating the smaller ones, if that all makes sense or not, she says. I'm waffling along here to myself, you know, but hopefully that all makes sense to everybody out there, and if it does, then send me a message, that would be lovely. Okay, so what we do is we've got saloon doors. We're gonna have a go at doing the square dance, and hopefully, because if we've still got time, then we'll have a go at the flapper one and also the double Dutch. But I thought we'll start off with the saloon doors because this is fairly straightforward, and once you know how to do this, you'll be able to do the square dance and it'll be fairly straightforward. Okay, so I always have a page to hand for reference as well as I'm working my way through. By the way, I just want to say, when you're cutting out papers and stuff like that and you're doing a big project, it's really handy to have these little post-it notes. They are so dinky. And the beautiful thing that I love about these is that I've been able to cut out all my papers and actually put them together, oh yeah, with some really dinky little bulldog clips. I mean, these are just so cute. Just to hold it all together, and it just means then that once you've got all your bits together, you can just work on that in one pack, which is just fabulous. I just love it. So it's just me, I love little dinky things. Right, okay, so saloon doors. Right, so I've cut everything, but I've not scored it because I think it's important to know what side you've got to score everything on as we go along. All right, so let's get my little scoreboard out. So 2 pieces of black cardstock. So on my instructions it says that these are 4 1/8 by 4 inches, and you've got 2. So you see, there's the 4 inch, and if I turn that round, that's a 4 1/8 of an inch. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to score on both pieces on the 4 1/8 of an inch side. All right, so very subtle difference on these, but this is what we need. Okay, so these are both 4 1/8, so I'm just going to line them up there ready. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're literally just going to score 1/2 inch down one side. So I'm just going to score that. That's that one done. Just double checking, measure twice, cut once, or score once. Here we are, 4 1/8, and then I'm just going to come down here and score the 1/2 inch. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Let's pop that out of the way. All right. Now what we need to do is just give that little fold back, little burnish, like so. I don't know where I got burnish from, actually. I'll be honest, I don't know where that come from. In the depths of my mind somewhere. Here we are. Right, we're just going to burnish that one as well. because the idea with this particular one is that we're going to put the red liner tape on the inside, because on our page, well, you can do it one of two ways. You can either tuck that round on that side, or we can sit it just on the top. And I think when I did this one, I think I sat it on the top. Yes, I did. Okay, so we're gonna sit those in on the top. So actually we're going to put the red liner tape coming down on the outside, so that when these come together, now I just want to show you, I know it's a bit hard to see black on black, but the idea is that these sort of butt up against one another on the page. Okay, it comes right to the edge there, and that you've got it sitting on where that seam is there for the score line. So let's just have a little look. Now that, as I'm doing that, I can see, even though I've measured these, I think it's just slightly out. So see, this is why you always measure twice and cut once. I'm just going to trim off a tiny little bit off of these. Doesn't always happen, I'll be honest, but better to be safe than sorry. So let's just measure. Perhaps it was me as I cut it free and right. Okay, so I need to bring that in. I'm just going to take a little smidgen off of this one. See, it's good to know when you're doing these things that sometimes you may need to make just a few minor adjustments, and it could be just because of how I've scored it. Perhaps it's just overstretched it more than what I wanted to, but I'm just going to trim that last little bit off. So I've done both. Right. Okay, I've still got glue stuck to my fingers. So I'll measure that. Right, okay, so we're going to sit that on there, and we're going to fold that one in and sit that on there. Yeah, much better fit. Okay, because the idea is that I want those doors to butt up against one another on the page. I don't know if you can see that. See if I move that like that, you can see that I want it to butt up against that. All right, so we're going to turn it over, and I'm going to put red liner tape on the outside. Now, if you're not very confident with your red liner tape when it comes to gluing and sticking things onto things, then go with your bookbinding glue. Okay, but because I'm doing this as construction, I want to make sure that it stays put. So, not that bookbinding glue doesn't, but I just like to make sure that it's well and truly stuck. I'm probably going to regret this now, you watch. I'll stick it on there and then I'll be like, why did I do that then? Why did you do that? Should have just gone with the glue. We'd given you a bit of wiggle room, but no, you've just gone straight for it. Lovely red liner tape. Here we are. We're just going to tuck in on that one, like so. Okay, give it a bit of a burnish. Dun, 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 dun. I wonder who Bernie was then. I don't know where I got Bernie from. All right, so there's my score line on my page. Okay, I'm going to turn it round, because what I want to do is make sure that I get these pretty much centered and against the score line as well. So looking at that, that's reckons that should be about 1.5 inches. Okay, I'm just going to check this side and see whether that is going to be the same. Near as damn it, that's all almost. So I can probably come down just a fraction. It's just a little fraction more than 1.5 inches. But if I line that up straight, this is what I love about these omni grids, or these quilting grids, because you can square everything. Okay, just check that again. So that's right, just between, well, just over the 1.5 on that side. I'll do this again. That's 1 5/8. Okay, and this side is 1 5/8, pretty much. Let's straighten that up. 1 5/8 and 1 5/8. Okay, Right, so the little trick that we did earlier, where we take off half the red liner tape, a bit squeaky, give it a crease, like so. So you've just got a little tag bit there, I don't know if you can see that. And then I'm going to make sure that this is square against the, so it's in between the 1 and 5/8. Right, I'm going to rest that down just on that score line. Make sure that's nice and flat, it's all square. And then I'm going to, whoops, oh, move that. Easy does it. 1 and, so I'll be honest, it's not the easiest thing to see on here, but I'm going to tuck that in on there, put that down. Let's get that red liner tape because it's gone back in, come back here. All right, stick that down. Okay. All right, so that is right on that score line. So when I fold that, that is right on that score line edge there. Okay. Whew. And breathe. Right. Okay, so the next one coming over, we should then just be able to butt that one up against, make sure that it's lined up against that, and then just glue that one down. So makes it easier now. One's in place. And we'll just get the other one done. So again, I'm just going to do half and half. Take the tape off, get the, oh. So again, I'm just going to line that up with the, drop that bit down, pull that last bit, and there we are. Ha-ha! Yay! As simple as that, she says. Okay, and then we're just going to burnish that down. Make sure that that's nice and even. And that is our first page done, our saloon doors. I mean, how quick and easy was that? Now, how are we doing for time? Okay, I can quickly show you how I'm going to decorate the doors. So I've got this bit of the kaleidoscope 49 Market stuff here, but you see I wanted the bird out of that bit and I want the flowers out of that bit. So I'm going to trim it down and cut it so that that will fit in. I'm not going to put anything on the back for the minute because again I'm going to wait and see what I'm left with, because I might end up putting photo mats on most of this with just a few strips of card. But if you are making one album and you're using the collection pack, the solid pack and the 6x8, you will have more than enough cardstock to decorate your pages and put your papers in however you wish. It's only because I've set myself the challenge of trying to get 2 albums out of the packs that it limits me to what I've got left to manoeuvre with. So on our patterned paper, now I do believe I wrote that on there as well, so 7 inches by 7 inches by 1 inch will do the back side of that. But for the doors, I like to come in about a quarter of an inch so that it leaves that. So that's 3 3/4 inches. So let's go 3 3/4 inches that way, and this way is now, let's have a little look, 3 5/8. So I want 3 3/8. So let's just trim this down, 3 3/8. Right, here we go. Now before I cut that, I'm just going to line it up against, yeah, okay. So 3 3/8 by, what did I say? Measure again, right, that's 4 inches by 3 3/4 of an inch. 3 3/4. Okay. Right, okay, so we're just going to check this one now. So yeah, that fits just nicely on like so. It gives me a nice 1/4 inch, or an 1/8 of an inch trim, rather, not 1/4 inch trim all the way around. Okay, and then we're just going to trim down the other one. So that was 3 5/8. 1 2, come over. 1 2 3. Now what I would say, don't throw any of your scraps away, because you'll use them for doing like the waterfall and filling in trims and things like so. So don't throw any of them away. By 3 3/4 inches. Here we are. Just gonna line that one up. And these are really handy as well for sticking on the bottoms, you know, for putting journaling and things like that on there as well. So don't throw any of your bits away, because trust me, you'll need them. All right, so that's what I'm after. Now before I glue those down, I'm just going to go around with a little bit of distress ink. I'm using black soot. Okay, I'm just going to go around. And what this does is it gets rid of that white core, which really stands out against the black card. So at least it sort of helps it blend in, like so. So that's one done. And then we're just going to do the other one, like so. There we go, all the way around. Like that. Okay, and now I'm just going to glue these down. So I've got some bookbinding glue, if it's working. Oh yeah, it is. Let's just put a wiggle on there. That's it. And we're just going to stick this on. And I'll hold the page up so I can just line it. So make sure it's, because it's a wet glue, it gives you a little bit of wiggle room, which is just what you need. And making sure that I've stuck it the right way up as well is always helpful. Okay, and then we'll just put the last little bit of lump glue. That's it. Okay, and we're just going to pop this one on. So again, now the beauty of this is because you've already stuck one down, you've got a guide to make sure that you've got them lined up. Like so. And there we are. And that is our first page done. Okay, now obviously when we come to decorate the inside, your papers will come over and cover up this hinge bit here. Okay, but that is our first page done, and that is called the saloon doors, because they remind me of saloon doors. That's why I called them that. Lovely. Right, next one then. What shall we do now? Let's have a go at the square dance. Get rid of that. So this is the paper that I've selected as part of the to decorate some of the squares. So let's just move that over there. This is the little magnetic strip as well that we're going to use. These are my 4, 1 2 3 4, and for our square dance, these are 4 inches by 3.5 inch. Okay, so it's 4 inches by 3.5 inch, and you need obviously 4 of those. We're going to score them as well. Just move my little clips and stuff out the way. So I say on the score, for scoring these, you are scoring these on the 4-inch side. So that's 4-inch side, not the 3.5 inch. Okay, on the 4-inch side, let's just take that out, and we're going to just do 1/2 inch coming down. So exactly the same for the saloon doors, slightly different size. Okay, make sure that you're scoring it on the 4-inch side. 1, 2. Here we go. 3. And the final one, number 4. Okay. Clip that down. All right. So these, I'm just going to give these a little bend and a burnish. And we'll do the next one. And then we'll do the next one. Oop, get over there. That's it. And the final one. Like so. Okay. Right. Now for this one, if I just come back to the album, just to show you what I did, is that these have gone right on the edge, okay, pretty much of the thing, but I wanted to make sure that they all met in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little trick what we're going to do for that. I just need some purple tape. Just grab some purple tape. If you haven't got purple tape, which is like your repositioning tape, then you can, you know, use a bit of masking tape, but just be careful. Try and make it a little bit tackless, you know, just so that it doesn't overstick. So it's almost like putting a jigsaw together here. You see, I'm gonna just line these up like so. Okay, so that's going that way, but I want the hinges to go on the outside, like that, you see. And then the idea is we're going to put a bit of tape on there, and then we're going to fix the whole thing down. But before we do that, we need to put some red liner tape on. So let's get our red liner tape. I'm just going to put that across. Give that a little trim. There we are. Let's do our next one. Like so. 1, 2. Here we go. Our next one. So we should have 4 in total. Alright, let's trim that down. 1, 2, 3, and then the final one. And then we're going to burnish these. Oops, come back here. Stuff is not very forgiving. If you find that using 12mm tape is a little bit too near the knuckle in terms of trying to make sure that you get it spot on, then I suggest using the 9mm stuff, which is really good. Gives you that little bit of wiggle space. Right, let's just give these all a little burnish. And this one. And this one, like so. Da, 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 da. Right, okay. What I need is a page. Here's my page. I'm just going to crease my seam so I can see exactly where that is, the score line. Right, so the idea is that I want it, when it's on here, I want one to come down going that way. I want one to open up going that way. So that will go like that. So I'm just lining these up on the page ready. Then, oh, that one's going that way, so I want that one to come that way and that one to come that way. So they open up in different directions. Okay, so with that in mind, let's slide that page out, but keeping them in the same format. I'm just going to line these up and put a little bit of purple tape on this, just to hold these in place. So let's do 2 first. Okay, I'll do these 2. There we go. Oops, line you up. So if your cutting is spot on, these should be fine. If it's not, as my granddad would say, you have to be a blind man to see that. Right. Okay, and then we're going to line up and across that way. So I'm just going to put some weight on that for a minute. Right, let's just do this in 2 bits, I think. So let's do the bottom bit first. This is great stuff, this purple tape. And then we turn it round. Just put some more on there. Okay. Right, making sure that that's not completely overlapping, that it butts up right against it. Because we don't want an overlap, we just want them all butting up together. Okay. So now we've got them like that. We've got all our red liner tape on there. We now need to get it onto our page. So you'll notice that these will come in just slightly inside the page size. Okay. So I think now that I've tested that and I know it's going to fit all right, what we'll do is we'll do, like we've done before, we'll just take off half the red tape and just give it a little crease, so that, like a little tail, so we can grab hold of it. Now, if you're unsure about doing this with red tape, then obviously go in with your bookbinding glue. Okay. But you can put a bit of bookbinding glue on the red tape. It just gives you a little bit extra wiggle room before it completely sets. Okay. And then we're just on the last bit, which is always a fiddly one. There's always one. Always one. Right, here we are. Let's crease that off. Right, okay, so here we go. I think for this one, it's a standing up job. So we're going to stand up and do this. Oh, there we go. Right, how's everybody doing? Oh, good. Right. So I'm going to let that sort of drop in place for the minute, just so I can roughly see where that's coming round. And just where I've taken that tape out, I'm just going to tack down those areas that I've taken the tape from, just to hold it securely in place. So that one just comes in, that's still flat, okay, and then that one on there. So I've just lightly tacked those down. That's not too bad. There's my score line, so they're pretty close. Right, okay. Let's just go for it now then. I'm just going to take the tape out and stick the rest of it down, and hopefully it has worked. That bit of tape in there, that's it, and the last bit. Right, okay, here we are, the moment of truth, everybody. Dun dun dun. Right, I've got a little bit of the tape showing there, so let's just tuck that in a little bit. That's it, because otherwise that's going to stick to everything. There you go. Right. Okay. Let's breathe. Right. Take off the first bit. Oops, taking off some of the black. Not quite as tacky. There we are. That's fine, because I'm going to cover that. Right, that's one bit down. Gently does it, Deb. 2. That's it. 3. Right, and the last little bit. I'm just taking that edge off with a little bit of that card. Okay. All right, that's fine. We can glue that back down. Actually, I can go over that with a bit of Distress ink. I'll just blend that in. Yeah, that's just caught that edge on there. Okay, these things happen, but we can cover it with a bit of... Right, here we go then. Square dance. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, these are going to be covered by whatever you put on the inside, like so. But that all lines up, and that is pretty good, that. So I'm pleased with that. And then the card that I've selected to go on here, I wanted to pick up some of the, because it's not wide enough to do the whole thing, so I was going to have to cut some at the bottom and some at the top to try and sort of get in. But I think with the flower, I can probably just hint with some of that flower, and then I might be able to just do the bird bit there. But I'm only going to do 2 opposite corners, because the other corners will be plain, and that's where I'm going to put the magnets on when we come to do that. So how are we doing for time? Okay, not too bad. I can quickly do these. So let's just measure again. So should be square. That's 3.5 by 3.5. So I want a 3.25 by 3.25. So let's go. So 3.25. So using the Omni grids or the quilting grids, I can see pretty much what I'm going to get from my cutting out 3 3/4. But if I come up too far, I'm not going to get that one out. So I think I'm going to have to come down and just come across there a little bit. So 3.25. I did say 3.25, didn't I? You know what they say, measure twice. It's 3.5, yeah, 3.25. Okay. All right, so let's bring that in. So that's a 3.25 by 3.25. I say it to myself hundreds of times, then I should cut it right, shouldn't I? Yeah, would you agree? I think so. Right, okay. Three and a quarter. Let's turn that around that way, actually. Easy to cut by 3.25. I'm just going to come along to that, into that final corner bit there. And breathe. Right, okay. Oh yes, look at that. That fits just nicely. It's just got the little butterfly on it, and then this one we're going to do 3.25 coming in here. 3.25. Now I can probably get that bird in if I come down a little bit. Now that I've cut one bit out, I can come down a little bit further. Be a little bit more generous with my cutting. Actually, let's take that right off. That seems daft, just leaving that hanging on there, doesn't it? So it's always the hard bit, I find, you know, trying to make a decision as to where you're going to put papers and stuff like that. I don't know if anybody else has the same issue. I know sometimes the papers are just so nice, you don't want to cut into them either, and it's a case of, oh, am I going to do? All right, so it's come across like that. All right, and then I'm going to come across here 3 1/4. 1, 2, 3 1/4. Right, okay, so let's have a little look. Again, as I said, keep hold of all your scraps because you're going to need them. All right, so if I pop that on there and that one up on the top like so, and then when we come to do the magnets and stuff like that, they'll go on there, and then obviously whatever paper I decide to put on top of that. So again, just going to ink around the edges. Oops, I overdid it with the ink there, Deb. Getting too overzealous. That's all right. Okay, and then round this one. Just finishes it off. Now, if you're into things like faux stitching and stuff like that, then you can obviously do that on these pages as well. But to be honest, there's far too many nice things to be making and doing and faux stitching at this precise moment in time. Okay, so because I'm sticking that on there, I want to make sure that I've got that even spaced around. So a little bit of bookbinding glue. Come on, glue. That's it. Just put a little bit on. I haven't got any strength in my hands tonight. There we go. So, I don't know where any of you guys are based. I know Susie is some Mersey. I'm actually based in Essex in Rayleigh. I don't know if any of you have heard Rayleigh. It's not far from Southend, longest pier or pleasure pier in the world. I'm sure if I've got that wrong, Susie will correct me on that. Let's just pop that down on there. There we go, like so, and then we're just going to put this other one up on the top here. But yes, so I don't know if any of you have been watching the news. There's been lots of troubles and stuff going on. It's all a bit sad, really, I find it, but hopefully things will sort themselves out, because Southend has got quite a lot going for it. I mean, it's got the pier train, and you've got obviously the beach. We've also got our own airport. There's loads of stuff to do in Southend. Right, I'm just going to stick on the last one. So I'm just going to open it up just so I can get that evenly on there with my little edge. Let's just take that up just a fraction. That needs to come up just a little bit more. Move that over a little bit. Like I said, with this glue, it's a little bit forgiving if you want to wiggle things around just a little bit. There we are. Right, okay. And there we have it. So there's 2 of my pattern papers on there already, and then I will come back to that and do the magnet and everything else, and I'll show you how to do that at a later stage. I'll just pop that on there because I want to see what papers I've got left over as to what I decorate everything with. But there we are. So that is the square dance, and you've got four little flaps on that, and then that one opens up as well. Okay, so how are we doing for time? Not bad at all. We've done 1 album cover, we've done 2 pages so far, so let's step it up a little bit and do something else a little bit different. Let's have a little look. All right, let's go with the flip flop or the flapper one. Now again, I've chosen, cut that out of the way, I've chosen the papers for this one already because I wanted to make sure that I had enough oh, excuse me, papers for decorating the main flap, because these are, you know, they are quite a size, so I wanted to make sure that I had enough in order to be able to sort of do those. So I've gone with the butterflies, so I'm going to do 2 with the butterfly and 2 with this sort of diagonal stripe. Is that what you call it, diagonal stripe? Yeah. So I'm just going to pop them over to one side for a minute because we don't quite need those just yet. We need to sort out our page. So again, I'm just going to crease the hinge part so I can see where it is. Okay, oh, that's my little bits coming out the way. Here we go. Right, so the flapper page. Right, so 4 pieces. So on my instructions, 4 1/4 inch by 6 3/4 inches. Okay, and then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and we need a lovely scoreboard. Here we are. Oh, open that up. Okay, and we are scoring on the 6 3/4 inch side. Just double checking because it's getting late now. You know, the brain goes a little bit after 9 o'clock. Oh, we're not quite 9 o'clock yet. We're all right then. Okay, so 6 3/4 inch side, and we're just going to score down 1/2 inch. So again, this is going to be exactly the same as how we have made the square dance, okay, but it's just, again, the page size is different. All right, so it's 1/2 inch down on there, and that's number 2, number 3, like so, and finally number 4 page. Here we go. That's coming down like that. Clip that out the way. And then we're just going to fold these like so. Let's get that crease and we'll burnish those in just a minute. Okay. I'll give them a little burnish. That's it. 3 and 4. Now just reverting back to the original album. I do believe that when I did this one, I stuck them on the edge. Yes, I did. Exactly the same as the square dance and the other one. So again, but the difference with this is that they don't need to line up like we did with the square dance. Okay, so literally one's going to sit against there. And you're going to have one coming that way, one coming that way, and one coming across that way, okay, or whichever way round you stick them on. So we need our lovely red liner tape, like so. I'm just going to pop that on there. I don't know about you guys, the temperature here has cooled down quite a bit, but it's still a bit clammy. Can you have that? Can you have weather clammy but cooling down a bit? It still feels quite sort of muggy. Don't think that rain shower really did much other than give the plants a little drink. That's it, 1, 2, and then we do the next one. Here we go. Three. Well, I hope you guys are enjoying this as we're poodling along through this. Obviously there's quite a lot to this album, so I've tried to split it over a couple of sessions. So we can spend a little bit of time going through, and I can show you what I've done with all of these pages and that, and then obviously the assembly of the album and everything. And if you want me to do one on all the embellishment bits at the end, I'm quite happy to add on another week to do that. Okay, so this is my page. Now I'm going to stick this one down first because I want it going along here. And the beauty of it is, you can see that obviously when I stick that down, I'm going to line it along the edge of the page itself. Okay, so that gives me a good guide, and hopefully that will be nice and straight then. So let's just do what we did before and do half the tape, like so. I'm just going to line it up, so I'm butting this up against where the score line is, because obviously I don't want to stick it over our hinge bit. That's fairly straight against the page there. I'll run it nail along that, that's it. Right, okay, and there we go, there's the first one in. Alright, so that one goes that way. Just give that a quick burnish, make sure that's going to sit flat. Lovely. And then we're going to come around and do one coming in this way. So again, I shall put it here so it comes up against this edge of the page. So let's do half the tape. Like so. Right, okay. Right, edge that up against there. That's up against that edge there. Line that down, pull that away. That's it, give that a nice burnish. So that's 1, 2. Let's see what we're doing here now. Okay, I'm going to turn that round. So this one, I want to coming out this way, and then the final one will come down that way. Just making sure I put them in the right way. Yep, that's it. Right, okay. It's a bit weird when you're doing it upside down. All right, here we go. I'll take the red liner tape off. Come on, you little rascal. Okay, and again I'm going to line it up into that corner, line it up against the edge. It's going to bring it along that edge there so I know that that's nice and flush. Stick that down, pull that away. Oh, gonna sneeze. Oh, no, I'm not. I thought I was. Somebody said if you're about to sneeze, you should say marmalade. I don't know if that necessarily works or not. Right, okay, here we go. Our final bit on our flapper album. So I'm coming in here. So it's going to come against that edge again, line up against the hinge score line. So let's take that off, crease that. Okay, line that in. Right, okay, now that's slightly coming into there. Hold that down. And there we have it. Right, okay, so let's give that a little. So let's have a little look. So the idea is that you go 1, 2, 3, and then that one comes over 4. Voila. That is the flapper album. Let's just give that a quick crease down. That's it. Oh, the flapper page rather, not the album. Right, I'm just going to have a quick slurp of ginger beer. I will tell you it's non-alcoholic ginger beer. So, just hits the spot, that. Right, okay. So that's that page done. So we'll put our paper on. Now, I want to be able to have 2 pages out of this one and 2 pages out of this one. So I think what we're going to do is we'll measure the page, just double check. So that is 4 1/4 inches. So I need it 4 inches by, I do believe, it'd be 4 by 6. So it's just like the size that you would have of a standard photo. So we'll come in here. So these are 4 by 6s. So by my calculations, if I cut this one straight in half, should give us, oh yes, so that will do 2. That was nice and easy. This one, I'm just gonna have to trim this one down. Now I think this is, that's 9. So if that's 9, and I need 4 by 6. So if I do, what's this one along here? That's 8. Okay, so if I come along 6 inches here, it's all about trying to maximise the amount of paper and that you've actually got something left that you could actually do something with, you know. So by cutting it that way, it's given me a nice bit for something that will work with later on. And actually on the other side are some 3 by 4 cards, and I've just saved those. And that was pure fluke. I don't know how I managed that. Somebody upstairs is keeping an eye on me. Right. Okay. Right, and now we're going to do the 4 inch. That was a pure fluke, that was. How did I manage that? I've got no idea. So you just love it when those things happen. Right, okay. So that's 4 inches, and this one, please be 4 inches. It's going to come in just a little bit on that. There we go. Oh, perfect. All right, and then I'm just going to ink around these, and then we're going to stick these on. So with my lovely, right, not too much, Deb. You went OTT on the last one. Let's just take it down a little notch. There we go. As I said, just doing this helps colour up, blend in the core of the cardstock. So it doesn't stand out. You might like it. You might like the white bit showing. That's your choice. Me personally, I like to just go round this. Just sort of see how that looks. There we go. Almost done. On that one. The nice thing about this kaleidoscope paper as well is that the cardstock is really good quality. I mean, this is quite, I don't know if you can hear, it is really quite on the thick side. And we've got loads of embellishments and everything in the shop as well, and all the ephemera and stuff. So, you know, pop along and have a look at craftywafty.co.uk. One for your instructions and that on how to make this out, more like all the cutting and scoring things. But 2, you know, get a hold of all your lovely kaleidoscope 49 market papers and stuff like that. Well, they say papers, but it really is really good quality cardstock. Somebody, just to mention that the GSM that I've used for the black cardstock is 250 as well, so that's quite a decent thickness as well. So it's, you know that when you finish making the album, it's going to be quite sturdy, and that's what you want, really, isn't it? Right, I'm just going to work out right now. Some things you have to consider is when you're putting this stuff on is if they're directional papers. Actually, there's butterflies going all different ways here, so I don't necessarily think that is, but I'm going to pop that one on there. I think this one will probably come in down there, but the diagonal is directional. So which way do I want it to go? Do I want it to go away? I think I might have it going that way. And then this one, do I want it going the same way, or do I want to turn it round? Oh no, it will work that way either way. Oh, that's handy. Okay. So I've got the stripe going the same way. Right, okay. Just gonna put some glue on these, and then we can put these in. Like so. So I'm going to start off with one at the front. Just drop that down. That gives me my guide. It's pretty good. It's got my nice trim to it. Right, I'm going to go for the next one. But this is going to make a fabulous album. And I think when I was talking to my fellow Craftywafty gang, that we might even put one of these albums up for a prize. So you could potentially end up winning one of these albums. So that'd be quite nice when it's all done and finished. Right, that's glued on there. Right, we'll just do the next one. So which would make a lovely gift for anybody, wouldn't it, really? And if you're going to fill it with photos and stuff like that, I think that would be, you know, for like as a memory album or something like that. I'd be, you could have them, you know, somebody's summer holiday or something, or if somebody just likes nature and that, because these are very sort of, you've got the lovely birds and the butterflies and everything on there. I think it just gives it a nice look to it. And the colours are just, well, the colours just blend in really lovely. Right, okay, so let's just put the glue on this final one. I'm just going to tuck that in, and just even that through, like so. Okay, and there we have it. So, and like I said, I've left the middle bit open and the backs of these because I might put page mats on these, like photo mats, and depending on what papers I've got left as to what I do in the middle, whether I put in a, you know, big square or not. But there we are. So that is our flapper page. Okay, so I'm thinking that we can probably squeeze in and do one more page, which will be what I call the double Dutch. Okay, and basically all of these pages are just made up of different flaps and that, but it's just what you do with it, and how you sort of make, you know, put them together as to how they sort of give you the different effects and stuff. So, which is what I quite like. So again, here we are. Here's my page. These are my bits. Now this is obviously the little magnetic clasp thing. These are some of the colours that I've selected to go with the card, and these are the pieces that we're going to need. So let's take out my little postie. So the double Dutch. All right, you've got two different sizes of cards here. You've got 7.5 by 3.5 inch, and then you've got 7 inch by 4 inch. Okay, and then you have two each of those. So let's get the scoreboard up, and we'll make sure that we pick the right ones and do the right ones first. So I think for our double Dutch, we'll go with the 7.5 by 3 inch, which are these ones. So let's just check they are the right size. 7 and Yeah, 7.5 by 3 inch. Okay, and we're going to score on the 7.5 inch side. So I'm just going to put that at the top. Okay, line that one up ready. Oof. Okay, we're going to come down, and this is, we're scoring, what are we scoring? I do believe we are scoring, is it 1/2 inch, Deb? Is it 1/2 inch? Yep, 1/2 inch. So we're going to just score 1/2 inch down one side. Here we go. And now the next one, 1/2 inch down there as well. And let's just give those a little crease. Okay. Like so. That's it. And then the next ones are, the size for these are 7 inches by 4 inches. And 2 of those, and we're going to score on the 4 inch side. Okay, this time. All right, not the 7 inch, but the 4 inch side. And again, we are scoring down 1/2 inch. So let's just bring that along. Make sure I've got that in. That's it. And then we're going to do the same on the other one. Here we go. And clip. Okay. Right, we're just going to give these a little bend. Right, let's just score along those. Now this one is slightly different, okay, because yes, it does have flaps, all right, but they're going to open up in a different way. And what I wanted to sort of explain to you is that you can go which way you like with these, all right. So the idea is that these two with the 2 long lengths with just the short score edges, okay, one goes on the top there, or just comes in a little bit, and the other one comes up the other way. All right, so that is how we will stick the first 2 on. Okay, that's how they go. So let's get them done first, and then I'll show you what you can do differently with the others. So let's put our red liner tape on. Oop. As we're going to stick these on. There's my little... Oh, right, like so. And then we're just going to do the other one. So, oops, got caught there. Right, okay, we're just going to burnish those on. Now, when you come to stick these on, the best thing to do is to do the inside one first, and you'll notice that when you put this on, it doesn't quite, I don't know if you can see, it's not quite the length of the page, okay, so you need to allow it to come in for a little bit. But also you've got to consider that when the other page comes down as well, there is a slight gap going round the edge so that it doesn't butt up against the score line or the edge of the page itself, okay? So you can be a little bit forgiving with this one when you put it in. So let's put this first one in and just make sure I've got it level going up and I've got enough space top and bottom pretty much the same. Okay. That off. Okay, let's just roll that. That's it. Tape's just come over the edge a little bit. Right, okay. So I've just gone for it on here, and I'm just going to drop that in like so. That's fairly straight, pretty much the same. Just give that a quick burnish along there. Alright, well, I've got some glue tape showing. I can run that along with my glue rubber. That will get rid of that. But coming to do this bit, you need to make sure that you do now line that one up with that edge, because you want them to sort of come together. So a bit like we did before with the square dance one. Make sure that we back that up. And if you're a bit uneasy about going straight in for it, then do your half and half, or even put a bit of tape down just to hold it in place. But I'm going to line up that edge first and this edge first, making sure that they are pretty close, like so. That runs along quite nicely. So you can almost feel it with your fingers if it's flush. That's it. Right, and then we'll just take the rest of that red tape off like that. Okay, so they are our first doors, as it were, that when you open them up, one will come down and one will go that way. Okay, now this is your choice. All right, I'm not the album police, you know. I don't get pressures over me design. If you want to tweak it and do whatever you want, I really don't mind. At the end of the day, it's your album. But what I wanted to show you is what I did. Now, this piece here, this edge, I put on going this way. Or I think I tucked it in and did it that way. I think it was easy for me to... No, I put it on the top there. That's it, going on the top there. All right, and lined it up so that when you opened it up, it will open up that way. And then what I did is the same, but I did it the opposite, so that you get that sort of box effect, 1, 2, and then the third box coming down. I don't know if you can see. Let me just move that screen up a little bit. Move it up a bit. So you end up with 1 box, 2, 3 sort of pages. Yeah. If you don't want it opening up like that, then what you can do is bring it so that they come in line on the other side, so that you have them, so you've got them going. So it's almost like, you know, that will close, but then it opens up and then it's in a complete straight line, if that makes sense. Yeah. So whichever way you want to put those on is absolutely fine. But the key thing is that the page folds in, and it folds in on there, and then that will fold up and go in and tuck in like that. Okay, so you don't see it, so it's hidden. All right, that's the whole point of this particular page. Okay, so however you want to add your pages to these additional bits, then that's absolutely fine. I am going to stick with what I designed, and I'm going to have them on the outside. Okay, so that when I bring that up, that then just tucks in with that. Okay, so what we need to do now is put the red liner tape on, and then I'm going to glue that down. Here we go. Oh, wrong tape then for a minute. Picked up the wrong size tape. Right, okay. So just run that red liner tape along. Okay, give that a quick burnish. Let's put the red liner tape on the other one while we've got it out. And then we're going to stick these down. Like so. Let's clip that across. There we are. Alright, give these a quick burnish. Fold that in. Right, and I'm just going to make sure that they do fit in on that page, and that's going to allow, yeah, okay, because if they were just a little fraction too long, then I would trim a little bit off. And actually looking at that, they are just a fraction, so do you know what, I am just going to take a smither off because I want it to hide behind the other page when it's folded up. So I'm literally just taking a slither off. All right, and I'll do that on both of those because I'm probably going to find it's going to be the same as the other one. Sometimes when you're making albums and stuff like that, you know, depending on how the paper plays about and how you've glued things and scored things, you have to sometimes make these fine little adjustments just so that at the end of it, it makes the album look a lot better and neater. Okay, right. So if I put that in on there, that now comes in under that page, which is beautiful. Just what the doctor ordered. Right, okay, let's do the half and half again. So I'm going to line this up on there. Hold that down. Pull that away. Let's make sure I've done it the right way round. Yep. And that will go in and fold in like that. That's good. Excellent. Is that still opening up all right? Yeah. Let's just burnish that down a little bit so it sits flat. That's it. Right, okay, and then we come round to the other side. So because I've got one going out that way, I need this one to come this way. Just slide that along. Right, okay. Right, and again, just gonna line that up. Like so. That's it. Take that tape out. Right, and give that a quick burnish. Right, and that folds down. So again, let's just fold these up against one another, line them up, and just give them a good crease now, just to make sure that all those seams are flat. Voila! So there we are, the double Dutch. Okay. So you'll probably notice that as I've been doing all of these pages, that I've actually been doing pretty much all the flaps with the hinge on one side. So when we come to do some of the other pages, I will actually turn it over and we'll actually do the backs of some of these on the next week, because obviously we need to do that, but just to show you. And what I like about having these pages out before you've even put them into the album is that you can do all the little decorative bits if you want to, or if you wanted to do faux stitching and stuff like that, it's still flat enough for you to come in and do that, which is just ideal. So I'm going to put on here now, in my album I had some quite patterned paper, but I'm going to leave these front ones plain because there's some really beautiful stickers and ephemera within the 49er Market range, which I think would look lovely to be able to put something on the front of these to decorate them. So I'm going to leave them plain, but we will stick these on. So where's my little ruler? So if that is 3.5, so I want 3 1/4. So here we go, 3 1/4. 1, 2, 3. Measure twice, cut once, because you nearly cut that wrong then, Deb. 1, 2, 3 1/4. Did I say 3 1/4? I did, didn't I? That's 3 1/2. Yeah, 3 1/4. That's it. There we go. Right, I'm just gonna slice down. And again, hang on to your scrap bits. Right, and then how long is this? So because this comes in slightly less than the page, 7 inches, so I want 6 3/4. 6 3/4. And again, I'll just trim that off. And I love these grids because you can really square everything up as you're going along. Right, okay, so let's pop that one. That one sits on there. So let's do again. So 6 3/4, wasn't it? 3 1/4 by 6 1/4. 3 1/4. Just double check. Yep. You have to double check these. Honestly, I suppose I'm not the first one or the last one who's actually cut something and you cut it out by 1/2 inch wrong or something like that. You know, 1/2 inch short or something. And I've done that on many occasions. 6 3/4. See, I was going 6 1/4, 6 3/4. You see, I would have done exactly that. 6 3/4. So I think it's good to just double check and take your time doing these. Right, okay. So we are almost on the home stretch in terms of doing these pages. Okay. So I'm just going to ink round these. Now actually this has got slightly, oh that's got one colour pattern on it, that's got the others, so I'm just making sure I've got the sides that I want. Go round to the distressing of the edges. Okay, and then we'll just do the other side. There we go. Now if you're a big crafter, you know, you do a lot of paper craft and stuff like that, I bet if I said to you, can you recognise this sound, and you had your eyes closed, you'd be able to hear, you'd be able to guess exactly what I was doing, wouldn't you? Because it's just so obvious. Right, okay, now we're going to just pop these on, and I want to make sure that I've got these evenly spaced. They go on there. So that'll be fine. So we're just going to put a little bit of glue on the back and glue these down, and then that's our double Dutch bit done. Hold on a minute, Deb, hang on. You're brushing. What haven't you done? You see? This is why sometimes you have to think about these things, because what I haven't done is put the magnets in, which I need to be able to put that on to hold it together. Okay. I think we need to do magnets, don't we? I think it's time that we do this before I put these on. Okay. All right. And how are we doing for time? It's 9:30. It's 9:30. God, that was close, Deb. You nearly stuck them on, and then you would have had to take them off to put the magnets in. All right. So I've got these little magnets. Okay. They are great for doing your decorating and, you know, closures and things like that, but they are little buggers to try and get them separated. So while I fight, oh, there's 2 there. Right, I've done. And then you have to make sure that you get them around the right way, to make sure that they're going to actually stick together. So I've got magnets there, and I've got, oops, see, and there's slippery little magnets there. So just looking at where the paper's going and looking at roughly where I'm going to need this for the middle. You see, I'm pushing them together, look, and they are repelling already. Look, they're so fun, aren't they? Look. Way! Right, okay, so you are going to be tricky, aren't you? Let me flip you over. Let's see whether that does any. See, now they've come together. Told you they're tricky. Right, okay, so let's put that on there. So what I need to do is work out roughly. So let's take the paper away. This is my thing here. I need to sort of almost centre that and give myself some sort of guidelines as to where these lovely little magnets are going to go. So if that is about 3 inches there, I think that's going to be too high up. Yeah, I can tell that just by, and that is 2.5 inches. So I need 2 3/4 inches roughly by 2 3/4 inches. Okay, so that is roughly where they're going to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark on here, go around this, because then it will give me an idea as to where the magnets are going to have to go in the center of the page, so that when these go on, they're gonna stick. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to, oh, see, I told you, come back. What I'm going to do is let's put 2 over there out the way, because they are really is right. Does that, which way does that stick? That's got to stick that way. Okay, so the idea is that I'm going to put a magnet there, and then I'm going to do one on the other side, but I need to come in a little bit, because obviously where the edge of the paper comes round, I want to be able to glue that down. So, and I've got this edge here of where I've drawn this around the square to show me how far I can go this way without it not catching on the magnet, if you see what I mean. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue, just a dollop of glue on here on one side of the magnet, and drop that down as to where I want it. So I think that is probably going to be the best place for it to go. So now I'm going to take that off. I'm going to split them up because they are little rascals. Come on. Right, put that down the way it should have gone. Put that bit down the way that the glue is, and I'm going to stick that on there. Now, you can, if you want to, put a little bit of tape over that just to hold that down in place. So I've got a little bit now, that obviously this purple tape, just going to stick that down over there, and that will hold that in place like so. And the thing is that when that goes on there, that's going to be covered up, so it's just going to hold that in situ, and that's going to stop that from moving. All right, so I need to do the same on the other side. Whoops, they are little rascals, honest to goodness. Right, okay, so this one is going to be roughly the same, so that gives me a rough idea. Let's just put some glue. So, okay, so I can just roughly see that it's the same sort of distance and the same sort of height coming across. Okay, and now I'm going to just put a bit of tape over that to hold that one in place as well. Now that they're in place, I can now get the other magnet and stick them on top. If I can grip it, that's it, stick them on top. Okay, like so. And with my little square that's going to come on like so, I can now put the glue on those for that to go in. But just looking at this, I think I might have just Oh no, should be all right. Covering those on the other side. It's a bit close. I might have to cut that one a little bit bigger. Just a fraction bigger. I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut this just a little bit bigger. It's only because where I've put these in and I've moved them over as far as I can. Actually, I might be able to wiggle them over a little bit, but that glue is not very forgiving. I just wanted that to sit, because when I put the card on the other side to cover it, I want to make sure those magnets are going to be covered as well. No, I think I think we'll probably be all right. Right, okay, here we go then. So a little bit of glue on each one, and then I'm just going to line that up in the square that I drew round, like so. Just press that on there, and then if I take that off, I can see where the glue has gone, and then I can stick these down like so. I don't know if you can see that. I'm doing it black on black. It's not good, is it? Right, okay. And then okay, let's just make sure if I put that on right, that does. I had to put that on the right way around. I thought I turned it over and too many times. Right, okay, so they will go on there. All right, and then I'm just going to let them dry, and then just going to put a little bit of tape just to hold these in situ, and I'm going to come in right on that edge there. That's it, to hold that in place like so. Right, and we'll do the other one, because I will decorate these sides of this and round the corners and everything at a later date, but once I know how much extra paper I've got left over. But those now stick on that, and that is secure, so I can take that off. Right, now we can put this on, and once we've done that, and I think we're almost done then. Let's just wait for the glue. Come on, glue. Yeah, I think once we've done that, let's move that all along. A bit of glue. Okay. All right, and I'm going to drop this on and just going to lift that up so I can make sure I've got it even with the black edge on it, like so. And now, as you can see, that's now covered up the magnet, so you can't see the magnet, but it is obviously still there. And then we're just going to do the other side. So here we go, there we are. All right, I'm just going to line that up, making sure that I've got it centered in the page, but also lining up with the other bit as well. There's nothing worse than when you look at a page that they're not lined up with one another. So let's have a little. And the thing is that with the black as well, it offsets it really nice. And there we are. So our double Dutch page. So that comes down and opens up, closes down, and then the magnets, which we've got stuck on there for the minute, but they will sit on there. And there we are. So just to recap then, what we've done, let's just clear everything. So we've made our album cover, and we put the hinge in ready, for when we're ready to attach the pages. Okay, and like I said earlier, we will come back and decorate that last of all. And then the pages that we have done so far is that we started off with the saloon doors. Okay, so now the saloon doors. Then we moved on to our square dance. So we did those. We've got the little flaps here. So these are all just flaps, basic flaps, and it's the same technique right the way across, but just different sizes and positioning. Okay, and this will be cut. This will be magnetic, and I will be putting a magnet on opposite corners like that, so that will sit like that. But until I've selected the paper for that, we'll leave that for now. Where's my little bulldog clip? I said I love these little bulldog clips. Right, okay, and then we moved on and did the flapper page. So again, same technique, different size, different positioning. Okay, like so. And then we stepped it up a little bit with our double Dutch page. So with the little magnetic, it's on there ready, just needs covering, and then obviously that opens up. That one opens up, and then it opens up again and again. So you've got that sort of across the board page like so. But like I said, you could always bring that page here, so you could have it all coming down in one long strip. So I think we've got about 15 minutes left, but I think in all honesty for tonight, I think that's probably well and truly enough. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen so far. If you've not done any of the album at all as we've been going along, that's absolutely fine. But I'm hoping that I'll be able to sort of keep this video or this live on Facebook, so you can go back and have a little look at that. Do go and check out craftywafty.co.uk. You need to put in, if you put in the search bar, Craftywafty flapper album, then you'll be able to download the instructions to your email address for free. Okay, and once we've done that, obviously please, do feel free to come along and join me next week, same time next week, Thursday 7 till 10. And what we will be doing next week, we'll be working on some of the other pages. So we're going to be doing what I call the mirror image page. We're going to be doing the waterfall one, we're going to be doing the envelope one, and we're going to be doing the accordion. Okay, they're a little bit more, not fiddly, but there's just a little bit more extra detail that goes into those. All right, so hopefully you've enjoyed yourself. Please leave a comment underneath, or go on to our Facebook page and sort of just give me some feedback, would be great. This is the first time I've done a proper live like this. Normally I do them recorded videos, and then it takes forever to load the things up, so I thought we'll go with this way, and hopefully you'll be able to sort of come back and have a little look. But I hope you've enjoyed this evening. We didn't get a visit from Mickey. Just to give you an update on the cat, he is fast asleep here on the sofa. Legs sticking out everywhere, bless him. So he's completely zonked, so maybe you'll get to see him next time. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm Debbie, craftywafty.co.uk. Give us a check on the website, and I'll catch up with you soon. Take care, everybody. Have a lovely rest of the evening. Bye.